Reincarnation. Some scholars believe that the term reincarnation is imprecise and they prefer to speak of the transmigration of souls. To my mind, the two expressions are synonymous, at least in common perception, and I prefer to use reincarnation because it's much more widespread and is found in authoritative texts as well. After this terminological precision, it will be appropriate to address, however briefly, the theological question. One of the most distressing questions that man has ever asked himself is what happens after death, and the answers given are innumerable. There are also those who feel absolutely nothing happens, but the great majority of people believe, even if it is more of a hope than a belief, that there might be a life after death, that our consciousness and all that we have acquired during life does not vanish into nothing. Churches and clergy of all times and places have fed such belief, and on this tightrope between fear and hope have built, more than on any other thing, their power. The hope that there might be something after death hides another need that isn't secondary, the need for justice. In few words, that the honest and good might be rewarded, and above all, that the evil people get to be punished. All religions foresee, page 119, exactly this, even if in different ways, that it is attributable to two systems. On one hand, the resurrection of the flesh and the universal judgment with relative eternal reward or punishment. On the other, reincarnation, which leads to apokatastasis, that is, to the restoration of the pre-creation condition. The term apokatastasis derives from the Greek and means reintegration, restoration. In all the Gnostic doctrines, it was believed that in the beginning there was a clear separation between spirit and matter. Then, in some way, the versions are numerous and fanciful, particles of spirit would be trapped in matter, particularly in human bodies. The duty of man is to release these elements of light. One life is not enough. As long as the soul is not completely pure, the spirit is compelled to reincarnate itself. When the last particle of spirit will be free, you will have the end of the world. You will have again a clear separation between spirit and matter, that is to say, the restoration of the original harmony, the apokatastasis. I say right away that to my mind it's absurd to ask which might be the better system, or still worse, which is the true one. In man's history, these two eschatological visions have always been present, and there have been attempts to find a synthesis between the two, especially in the Christian sphere. The idea, indeed, of a reconstitution of all things is also present in the New Testament. Certainly, there are terms and concepts that can be interpreted in different ways, and in fact this happened. Various theologians and fathers of the Church understood them in the Gnostic sense. Among these, above all, Origen, who more than all the others made every effort to reconcile the two systems. Then, in 553, the Council of Constantinople sanctioned as orthodox only the idea of an eternal hell. This was precisely what it was about. The document exhorts to excommunicate anyone who believes the punishment to be provisional, condemning therefore as heretical explicitly apokatastasis and implicitly reincarnation. All this shows that these concepts circulated in the early centuries of Christianity, coming, I believe, from piety or from horror of the thought of a perpetual hell, that then would have been viewed as the great majority of mankind. Purgatory was instituted only in 1274, aroused in more sensitive minds who couldn't believe that a God who was infinitely good could want this. Page 120. The apokatastasis reincarnation option, however, disregards the demand for justice. In both systems, it is added to salvation or liberation, to being with God or in God, only if one is perfectly pure. What the Catholic religion demands is that this is done in one single life, condemning, moreover, to never ending hell all those honest and good people belonging to other faiths, something that will move Dante to scream indignant, "Where is this justice then that would condemn him? Where is his sin if he does not believe?" Paradise 19, 77 to 78. Belief in reincarnation circulated then in original Christianity, even if it is impossible to establish in what measure. It was based on specific gospel passages which would otherwise be difficult to understand. It passed from Christianity to the Cathars. That they believed in reincarnation is beyond all doubt. The issue is to see whether Dante also believed in it. I think yes, also because such belief is implicit in the distinction between soul and spirit of which we've spoken. However, it's not the only argument that shows it. In the next pages, I will analyze three passages that present difficulty of interpretation and illogicality that are resolved to my mind only by resorting to the concept of reincarnation.